Today, I want to speak to you about a path upon which very few people that I've met have ever traveled. It's a path where you step out in faith and you believe God to do great and mighty things. Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call unto me and I will answer you, show you great and mighty things that you do not even know." And when we begin to walk that path of calling on God, seeking His face, praying for His kingdom to come, His will to be done in the hearts and lives of people, we're walking down the path of revival. When you begin to walk down that path, sometimes it can feel like a very lonely path, but I tell you this, that God will do extraordinary things to those who seek His face, who call upon His name. There was a man in Romania in the 1970s, a pastor by the name of Liviu Ola, who prayed. He sought the face of God. Then he began to teach his people to pray and seek the face of God. He taught them to pray in an unusual way. He said, "You pray that one day we will stand in the great stadiums of this country and preach the gospel. You pray that one day we will be able to, on radio and television, preach the gospel." Well, some people thought he was crazy, but he prayed, and he taught the people to pray, and many of them prayed, and God sent a mighty revival. And even though he was exiled from the country, I tell you, God continued working and answered the prayers of His people. And in December 1989, there was an incredible move of God's Spirit, perhaps the greatest move of God's Spirit in the last century in any nation. God moved in Romania, and everything was changed. People began to shout. People have been taught that there is no God. Există Dumnezeu, există Dumnezeu, există Dumnezeu. There is a God, there is a God, there is a God. And a whole nation was awakened. It was because a man traveled down a very lonely path, one that very few travel down, but he was a man of prayer, and he sought the face of God, and he believed God. He called on the Lord and saw God do great and mighty things that no one could have imagined. Why don't you travel this path of prayer and see God send revival and do great and mighty things?